Mate, I am practically homeless and I am still able to travel the world full time. And then people will say, no, Chrissy Boy, it's not possible, mate. You're full of baloney, you're full of BS, it can't be done. Mate, it can be done, and in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how I'm able to do so on a budget that is literally as cheap as chips, mate. So let's get into it. Good morning from a surprisingly sunny day here in Wales in the United Kingdom. Now, to go into the topic of breaking some people's perceptions about you need a lot of money to travel. And I'm going to use the specific example traveling around Asia, because for the last 6 or 7 months, I've spent a lot of time in country in Thailand, and over the last 4 months, I have traveled to Pakistan, Indonesia, Australia, Hong Kong, and also Thailand multiple times. For those people who are new to the channel, welcome. My name is Chris, but my friends call me Chrissy Boy. Before I get started with this travel breakdown cost rant, I just want to say that I have no savings whatsoever. I've got no cash in my pocket. I've got 2 bank accounts, one of which has 0 money in, and the other has £26.42. You're probably thinking, how does this guy travel around when he's got 26 quid in his account? Now that's because every month I earn anywhere at this current stage between £300 and £350 a month from YouTube. The way that I do it is I try to look for the cheapest flights a couple of months out from when I'm traveling, and that is having a specific country in mind. For example, if I know in 2 months' time today that I'm going to go to Thailand, I will look at flights today and see what is the cheapest, and I will usually use Skyscanner as a website to do that. Just for an example, I am back in Wales now because I like to come back and spend some time with family and just chill out with a nice homely routine every 3 to 4 months after a round of travels. Now, I found a direct flight from Bangkok to Denmark for £84, and then from Denmark, Copenhagen to Bristol in England in the UK was only £13, mate. It's these affordability in flights which allows me to dot around different countries in most of the time the same continent. If you've got flexibility with your routine, your job, the missus, the dog, the mortgage payments, mate, book a one-way ticket and then wing it on your return. The next thing is accommodation. Now, I use nothing but Airbnb to book my accommodation, and usually I'm fortunate enough to be able to find places with a private room, a shared bathroom, and a shared kitchen. Mate, look at the state of this. In Bangkok, for example, where I've lived for 6 or 7 months out of this year, I've been able to find a room, again with a shared kitchen, a shared bathroom, for £170 for the month. Yes, 170 quid to live in a really cool, hip, bustling district in Thailand's capital, which is Bangkok. The next thing is, if you're a fitness guy like me, you like to exercise and it's a big part of your life, then when I was in Bangkok, I was able to find a gym for about £15 a month, and that gym also included a swimming pool, coffee and snacks, and amazingly a workspace, which was a phenomenal find. 5-minute walk from the accommodation that I just stated. Now you're probably thinking, Chrissy Boy, that's all well and good, mate. You got a bed to sleep, you got some weights to lift, but what about filling your big fat Welsh belly, mate? So when it comes to food, especially in Asian countries, mate, you can eat for as cheap as about £3 a day. Okay, you can buy special fried rice and pad krapao meals, which are these delicious chili beef and rice meals with egg for about 90 pence, about $1 a piece. Usually I would eat, and have been, 2 of those meals a day, and then I would pick up a ready meal or a pot of ramen for about $1 too, just to mix it up. So that, alongside some bottles of water and some bananas, which again are super cheap, I'm spending anywhere from between £3 to around £3.50 a day on my food. One other thing to note is I don't go out and spend a load of money on tourist things. I don't do activities. I don't go on these long, expensive tours. I keep it very simple, very frugal, and also very streamlined, mate. Where are we? Wait, mate. Travel insurance. I know this is a big topic and one that people want to know of. Travel insurance for me personally is a little bit of a tricky one. Mainly because in the past, over the last few years, when I've traveled to various places, I've got myself into a few pickles. Number one has been, I was in San Diego and I was bitten by a spider. The second one, I was in Guatemala and I got dengue fever and ended up on drip in hospital. The third was I jumped off a bridge in Italy into the water and broke several ribs. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is during those situations, I had travel insurance taken out. But upon going to the hospital and calling the travel insurance companies and saying, "You're right, mate, Chrissy Boy is in a little bit of a predicament here. Can I have the cash sent over so I can get treated?" Unfortunately, they declined and rejected most of those. Actually, that's a lie. All of them. I have not had a single positive travel insurance experience because they've all been denied. Capital D, mate. So, long story short, I don't anymore take out travel insurance. And I know what you might be thinking. That is a really stupid thing for someone who hasn't got any savings and is only making £350 a month. I know it is, I know. But I'll admit, I'm an idiot, and that's just the way I do it. And I would highly advise that you definitely don't do the same as Chrissy Boy does. And it's one of those situations where do as I say and not as I do. But travel insurance for a fully comprehensive policy, say you're going to Thailand for 1 month, would cost you anywhere from between £80 to £120. A basic policy would cost you anywhere between 40 and 60, but that is my 10 cents on travel insurance. I hope you find a good policy holder, and if something was to happen, fingers crossed it doesn't, they pay out, mate. Look how beautiful this place is. This is like just behind my house, pretty much, in a nice woodland here. Lovely, and it's really rare to have partial blue skies in Wales, because ever since arriving back from Thailand over the last 7 days, it has been nothing but horrendous torrential downpour. So it's nice to see some clear skies and to be dry when I'm walking, mate. Bear with me, we've only got 2 subjects on this left to broach, and the second to last is transport. Now, I'm going to give you 2 options for transport when you're in Asia and you're on a budget. The first is a moped rental. You can get a moped rental in Thailand and other countries around for anywhere between £4 and £6 a day. Now, of course, this is completely optional. Mopeds, if you don't know how to ride them, can be risky and dangerous and deadly. So again, taking a moped out on rental does have its downsides, but if you know how to ride, you're confident and competent, then renting a moped in Asia might be the way to go for you. The second, and this is something that I do, is I often take moped taxis through the application of Grab, which is similar to Uber, as you might know. And whilst being in Bangkok, on average, I do 2 trips a day, and those trips can cost anywhere from between 60 to 80 baht, which is around £2 each trip. And that, of course, depends on what day it is and also the time of day. The second transport thing that I want to talk about is dotting around the country on public buses and trains. Now, just because you're stationed in a city such as Bangkok doesn't mean you don't want to go down and experience the beauty of the islands down south. such as Koh Samui, Phangan and Koh Tao. Or maybe you would like to go up to Chiang Mai, the northern regions, and experience more of the rural kind of green life in the mountains. Me, the way that I do it is I take the cheapest possible trains. For example, I went from Bangkok to Chiang Mai on a 15-hour train and it cost something like 300 baht. The other thing is you can do night buses. You can grab a night bus for 600 or 700 baht and you can go from Bangkok all the way down south, and then that includes your ferry over to the islands. So you can do it cheap. Or if you've got a little bit more money, you can just fly directly, which in all honesty really isn't that much more expensive. And now we have landed on the last topic, and one of which I think is the most important when you travel. And that is, mate, going out on the lash, going out to clubs and bars and having a good time on the booze, mate. Going out and partying, getting loose, making memories, creating stories, and overall having a great time. So for me personally, I don't have a load of extra cash to go out and drink endless bottles of beer and do endless shots of tequila, mate, because when I travel on that £350 a month, I am on a very, very tight budget. But for those people who may have a little bit more money to spend, but still want to keep it lean in terms of finance, mate, you can go out and you can have a great night on the town for 20, 30 pound. If you really push it, 50, 60 quid, mate, you can do that every few weeks in the likes of Bangkok, Koh Samui, up north in Chiang Mai, and you can have a great, great time. From someone now who has been traveling on and off for the last 8 years, and for the most part haven't had much money to my name, and doing it on, like I said, an extremely tight budget, this has been my world for quite a while now. And I've certainly utilized and experienced lots and learned a lot of lessons from being able to travel full-time for the most part on such a lean budget. You just have to be proactive and take action to go and prove to yourself that you can do it. And once you do, you will know that all of your previous perceptions on someone that needs a bunch of money to travel, I promise you, they will be dashed. They will be broken into a million little pieces, mate. I think it's time to cap this vlog off. I've kept you for far too long. I appreciate you watching once again. And if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing, mate. It's always a good time. And that's enough blabbing. I will see you in the next one. Cheers.